I think for a character like this, to do it justice, it was to kind of make this an R-rated movie.
How do you speak to somebody who might become the next James Bond? Hi, I'm Philip in London, and when I interviewed Aaron Taylor-Johnson in 2024 about his film Kraven the Hunter, he was just heavily rumored to be the next 007. Now, it would have been a waste to ask him if it's actually true, because he wouldn't be allowed to tell. So I tried to raise the topic of Bond without actually mentioning Bond, and here's his reaction. It's quotable.
All right. So I gotta ask, this shape that you're in the film and in latest commercials, is that your daily thing, and how much workout does it take?
The training for this movie was really something else, really intense, and mostly because I had to try and look like that physical, like the comic book character. So that was the main goal, and then there's a ton of action in this movie. So you know, it had to have a lot of discipline and stamina. So.
JC spoke to us downstairs about the graphic violence. So how much graphic violence is needed, and when would you say now it's too much?
I think for a character like this, to do it justice, it was to kind of make this an R-rated movie and really show that sort of comic book violence. JC, who did A Most Violent Year, is the perfect director to tell this story, this family saga story, and that's kind of gritty, kind of gangster story. So it's got a lot of emotion and heart, but yeah, you need the action to like balance it out for sure.
Is there anything that you would say you have in common with the character of Kraven, personally?
Do you know what? I watched it last night. I watched it again, and it's a great movie, honestly. But I did look at it and go, I have no idea who that. Like, I literally have no attachment to that person. But I was like, this guy is an interesting character for sure.
Now, lately, there has been a bit of backlash to comic book movies, superhero movies. Not all of them have done well at the box office. Is that something you think about as an actor when you make a film, or do you worry about it at all?
No, you always come to the table with the fact that, you know, is this an exciting project? Is it a character that I can, like, potentially dive into and bring to the surface? And something like this was just so interesting. It stood out to me than any other comic book movie. This, like, villainous character who didn't start as a villain. He just wants to be everything his father is not, and then ultimately goes on the path of becoming worse. And he battles with that. And I think there's so much emotion in this. I get to be opposite Russell Crowe, and there's some brilliant scenes that we have. And I feel that feels like such a privilege. JC is a director who isn't a Marvel comic book movie maker. He makes pretty hardcore, serious movies. You know, these characters really, they feel kind of, real,
Now, you've been in the business for 20 years already.
Yeah.
But right now, you're definitely one of the hottest names in Hollywood. Lots of questions. I'm not going to get into that question, but I'm curious, is that something that goes on in your mind at all when, these rumors are spreading and all of that? Is that something that annoys you? Do you block it out? How do you manage?
Not at all. I think, you just keep, the excitement for me is the privilege of being able to continue to do what I love doing. And to do a movie like Kraven, but then also have a movie like Nosferatu coming out, and work with great filmmakers like I did this year with Danny Boyle, and that's the excitement for me,
Lovely. I am looking forward to seeing the film, and thank you so much for your time.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Philip. Thanks.
Unfortunately, Kraven the Hunter didn't make a big impact at the box office, but Aaron Taylor-Johnson remains incredibly busy with a wide range of projects. And at this point, I think it's becoming less and less likely that he will be the next James Bond. However, he remains my #1 choice for the role. And I'm curious, what is your ideal James Bond candidate? Who do you want to play the role? Or do you agree with me, would ATJ make a great James Bond? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. It's quotable.